There's one simple habit you can put in place that's going to increase your wealth. I've talked about wealth creation quite a bit on this channel. And as you can see, there is a bit of a common theme. It's all about putting habits in place that are going to continue to tick over your wealth and continue to grow it. And today I want to talk about the one habit that I think is vital, and it's comparing things on a weekly basis, and in particular things like your expenses. So one of the ways I do this is by looking at my budget once a week on a Monday morning to have an idea of how did I spend last week? Did I go over what I would normally budget? And do I need to make any adjustments for the next week? The reason I find weekly is a great time period to do it is it allows you to get onto things before they get out of control. There will be weeks where I know how I've overspent. I've used up everything that's on my spending account and I've started to dip into another account, and it starts to play in the back of my mind going, oh, how much have I actually gone over by? So by having that once a week look at this, I can take that reset and go, where was I at? Okay, I did go over by $50. Where am I pulling that $50 from? Is it coming from the next week's spending money? Or maybe I've got something else that have built up a bit more than needed and I can borrow it from there. Replace it, start again from scratch, starting with the new week. And it prevents that creep from happening over a larger scale. What happens if you don't look at things on a weekly basis is suddenly you might have overspent by 50 here. And this goes back into that mindset, which I've talked about before on previous videos, that, well, now you've broken your budget, you're over that. What's stopping you from spending another 50 and another 50? So you think if this is snowballing over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 weeks, all of a sudden you could be $600-$700 over your budget. And now it suddenly becomes a large chunk of where is that going to come from? When you're looking at it on a weekly basis, you can kind of go, hey, yeah, I am $50 or $60 over, but I know that, let's reset and let's try and hit the budget for the next week. So you're starting to reset your mindset going, you know what, that's the previous week. I know that budget didn't work last week, but this week I want to make sure I hit it. So you're kind of restarting yourselves before it gets out of control. And I really expand this approach of looking at things weekly to other aspects of my life. So on a Monday morning, I also look at my goals list. So I set goals at the start of each year. I did do a video if you want to go and check that out. And I review how I'm going against these. Did I exercise enough times last week? Am I on track to losing a bit of weight if that's a goal? Or maybe I'm reading books, or maybe it's a revenue target for my business. I'm looking at these things on a weekly basis, kind of going, where am I tracking and where should I be at this time of the year? One of the goals I do have on this channel for 2023 is to hit 10,000 subscribers. This is something I'm tracking each week. So make sure, if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. So next week when I update my goals, I can see another steady uptick in growth of subscribers. Thank you for watching. Let's get back into the video. That approach doesn't work for everyone. Not everyone's going to have a list of goals, but think about other things in your life that you're doing on a regular basis. Should you be looking at them on a regular basis? I do it within my business. Every Monday morning, as a part of this big session I do, I look at the weekly KPIs for my business. So I'm looking at like jobs completed previous week. What tax returns did I lodge? What's the current workload like? It just gives me an overview of, am I meeting the goals that I've set? And that goes for a weekly and on an annual basis. And am I prepared for the week ahead? What is the plan for a week ahead? Again, it's keeping on top of things. You don't want to have your workload blown out of control and not have a plan. If I look at it Monday morning and go, oh, this is going to be a busy week, I can start to look at my calendar and go, where am I going to schedule this work in? Have I met my revenue targets? Or am I really falling behind? Maybe I need to work on some marketing to get some new clients in. Or maybe things are going really well and maybe it's the time to just focus on getting the workload out. These are the different things I'm on top of weekly because I'm looking at it on a weekly basis. And this is really vital to increasing wealth and to increasing revenue for your business or to increasing profitability because you're keeping on top of the key numbers. Now, you obviously need to know what these key numbers are to track. Like I said, at a basic level for a budget, maybe it's just your general spending. That's what you want to keep on top of. Now you can go, okay, I allocate $100 a week for spending and I'm spending 95. Well, that's great. I can give that a tick. Or maybe I'm spending 120 and maybe that's going to put me into the red and something else is going to go wrong. But you're starting to put in habits, and the habits are what build wealth in the long term. It's all about increasing your understanding of your own finances, and this will lead to increases in your wealth. And this is by putting these habits in place that are going to allow you to better understand your current position, where that compares to what goals you've got, and where that's going to put you in the future. Everyone is likely going to have some goal of increasing their wealth, increasing their current position. But this only happens if you hit the little targets along the way. You want to have $1 million net worth, for instance. But you can't just get there by doing nothing. It's likely going to be chipped out 10,000 at a time, 10,000, 10,000, 10,000, and all of a sudden you're at 100,000, and now you're going to get to 200,000, and then you'll work your way up to $1 million. You're not just going to go from 0 to $1 million like that. But the way you get there is by ticking off those little goals, by putting habits in place, by reviewing your position, and this will all work you up that ladder to reach that larger goal. I do really think the better you understand your finances, the more chance you've got for success. Whether that's your budget, whether it's KPIs within your business, or maybe it's just better understanding concepts when it comes to money. All of these are key to better furthering your position and to furthering your chance of achieving your wealth goals. I've noticed significant increase in my own wealth and in my business growth by just putting these simple habits in place. If you want to know more about my journey, this upcoming video is how I grew my business from $0 in revenue to over $100,000 within less than 3 years.